Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. You know what this channel is about. It's simply about making life easier for yourself. So whether that is getting more done in less time, or whether it's simply just doing less, spending more time with your family, or just simply feeling in control of things, that's what this is about, this channel. And another quick tip for you, and that's the saying, things will be better when, or I'll be able to do this later when. It's a bit of a dangerous saying. And I remember what sort of got me onto the saying was about 20 years ago. I remember hearing this bodybuilder talk about how he discovered that when you get older, your skin becomes thinner. And he said he couldn't wait until he was 60. He was only about in his mid-20s or something, but he couldn't wait until he was 60 because his skin would be thin and it would be able to show his muscles better. And I thought, gosh, in a way, you're sort of wishing away a big part of your life for something that you can actually do now. You don't need to wait till that time. And of course, what that takes for granted is that all the other variables stay the same, that you're still in love with bodybuilding at that stage, that your muscles are the same shape, the same roundness. So he was thinking that only one variable was going to change, and that's his skin gets thinner. So there's a real danger with this, things will be better when, or later when this happens, things will be better. That type of statement in your head. And other things will be, when we pay off our mortgage, then we'll be happy because we'll be able to go traveling, or we'll have more time when the kids leave home to be able to do. It's these sort of statements, and what I'd say to them is just, there's a bit of a red flag with those. So when you hear yourself make a statement like that, try and understand why. What is it? And challenge yourself to determine what is it that you can change now to bring forward that happiness you think is going to come later. Bring it forward into now. Because what you're doing when you have a things will be better later when statement, you're wishing away a lot of time and you're really gambling on hope that things will be better later. But there's so many other variables that will change between now and whatever it is you're talking about in 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years. So I'd really recommend against that. Flip it on its head. What is it that you're hoping will happen? And now spend the energy now to make it happen. Like going back to that bodybuilding example, what is it that person could have done over the next year instead of waiting over 40 years or 30 years for that thing to happen? And generally for a bodybuilder, it would be just shredding a little bit more, losing a little bit more fat, and that would counter the thinner skin that you get when you're 60. It perplexes me a little bit, but don't get me wrong, I've been a victim of this too, in terms of, you know, being a student and having a student loan and thinking things will be better when my earning potential increases and I'm able to pay off my student loan. But what is it that I could have brought forward? And I sometimes do it on a micro scale. Like if I have a race, running race in a couple of days, and then what happens in those couple of days before the race is the focus is so heavily on the race, other things start to fall to the side. So it's a case of not just being in the now and being in the present, but what is it that you're waiting for, and what are you losing between now and that time? That is your opportunity that you can bring forward now. Anyway, I wonder if I'm muddling this a little bit, and I'm sorry about that. And for those of you watching for the first time, I do this all in one shot, saving myself time, right? I don't want to spend 4 hours editing something. But if there's something you can take from this, then that's great. So let me just finish. Let me wrap it up with the summary. When you think things will be better later when this event happens, that's a bit of a warning sign. It's a warning sign that you're depending on hope, you're depending on just one variable to happen, and you're wishing away time. So what is it that you're hoping will happen? And how can you bring the element of happiness that you think it'll provide you then, how can you bring that into the now? So if it's time with family, because you feel like you don't have time with family, how do you make time with family? Don't wait for something to change that might be 5 or 10 years away. How do you make that change now? Challenge yourself with that. You're smart, you're clever, you'll work it out. But don't wait and don't wish away your years, because you do spend a lot of time looking back and going, I wish I had then. So put yourself in that position now and think about what you can do right now. Remember that red flag is when you think things will be better later when. Something along those lines, that language pattern, that's a red flag. And that for you should serve as a challenge to go, well, hold on, how do we unpick that? And how do I bring that happiness that I'm going to be waiting for and wishing time away for, how do I bring that into the now? That's it. That's my tip. If it resonates, if you think it's going to help, steal it. If not, ignore it. Take care.